Hey guys, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I have a speaking engagement at the ARFCA clinic, which is Arkansas Football Coaches Association clinic, tomorrow, and that's February 7th. Apparently when you win a state championship, you get to go speak at a clinic, and that's what I'm going to do. And this is going to be that presentation. So whether you're there and saw the presentation and want to kind of get some refreshers on what I said, or you weren't able to be there, this is word for word. Well, probably not word for word, but I mean, it's the same presentation, everything. Just kind of doing a little bit of a run through here before I do it tomorrow. So just kind of working on everything, and hopefully I don't ramble too much, and I'll just kind of put this entire video out there raw and all that so that you guys can see it. And if you got any questions or anything, please contact me. On Twitter, on YouTube, whatever it is. If you have any questions about any of this stuff and I need to clarify, or if there's anything that you want to learn more about, please just get in touch with me, because I learned all this stuff from somebody. So we'll jump right into it. What I'm really going to do is talk about just some really basic philosophy things from our program. For me as a coach, what I strive to do, our offensive philosophy, our fourth down philosophy, our punting philosophy, and then also get into 3 of our base pass plays that, of course, anybody's going to do different things based on their quarterback and his abilities, but 3 or 4 pass plays that are going to be in our offense every single year no matter what, just because they're so integral to being able to attack a defense vertically, and just they're really, really good plays for a bunch of different defenses. But we'll jump right into it. The very first thing that we want to talk about is what we ask of our players. The most important thing that you got to do with your team and program is create a culture, and everybody knows that these days. But number one thing that we want to talk about is we got to be great teammates. It goes for coaches, it goes for players, it goes for everybody. Everybody's got to be a great teammate. That covers a lot of different rules. Be a great teammate in the classroom, be a great teammate on the weekends, be a great teammate, obviously, on game days and practice and everything like that. So that's the number one thing that we talk about, be a great teammate. The other thing we want to talk about with our student athletes is be coachable. Not only do you need to be coachable for the coaches so that they can reach out to you and guide you and teach you what you need to know, but you also need to be coachable with the younger guys or the leaders of our team that have maybe been there before. So be coachable and listen to those guys, and come to work with an open mind, and you're going to be a great part of our program. So be a great teammate, be coachable. That's all that we're worried about. If you do those things, everything else is going to take care of itself. Those are a few keys that we talk about every single day. Next thing I want to talk about is just kind of some things that I do as far as myself and what I strive to be as a coach, and what I would say most coaches probably intrinsically do, or they wouldn't be coaching. And the very first thing I want to do for our programs, I need to be consistent. The most important thing for any coach that's leading a program is they need to be consistent. Every single day, people don't need to be walking on eggshells saying, hey, is Coach Kelly happy? Is he sad today? What's the deal? How's he going to treat me? I want to treat everybody the same every single day. Be consistent. Consistent energy. I understand that everybody has problems. I've got problems myself. I go through stuff, just like our kids. The kid that maybe shows up in the morning, hadn't eaten anything. Maybe the kid that didn't sleep because his parents are fighting, or they're going through divorce, whatever it is. Everybody has issues. Coaches down to players. Everybody has stuff they're going through. So I've got to bring consistent energy and understand that people have issues, but we've got to fight through it when we're together. The other thing is I've got to be an enthusiastic teacher every single day for every single rep. Whether it's the 1,000th time I've tried to coach power clean to one of our 7th graders, or whether it's the first time that I'm teaching power clean to one of our best players at senior high, I've got to be an enthusiastic teacher every single second, every single day, because that might be the only time that I'm able to teach that kid. I might have taught it 1,000 times, but that's the first time that he's heard it. He's got to hear the enthusiasm in my voice and the excitement for him to get better. The other thing is I've got to be an enthusiastic learner. I don't know everything. I don't claim to learn everything or to know everything. I got to learn everything that I do, whether it's through football, strength conditioning, nutrition, everything. I've got to learn it. And if I'm not willing and enthusiastic about it, I'm going to be stagnant, and I'm going to be the same person I was this time last year, which that's what you can't do. You can't be stagnant. You got to continue to be an enthusiastic learner and continue to teach enthusiastically as well. Another thing you got to do is the head of any kind of program or any kind of organization, you got to motivate. You got to motivate people in a football program academically, socially, athletically. All that stuff is very important. It all goes hand in hand. If you don't have the academics, you're probably not going to be able to play. But then also in the long run, you're gonna sell yourself short as far as being able to go to college and different things like that. Also socially, day and age today, you cannot go out there and be reckless socially. It's gonna catch up with you one way or another. It's gonna catch up to these kids. So you gotta try to educate them on that and let those guys understand what they have to do to be proactive and on top of everything socially. The other thing, of course, athletically, we're gonna push those guys, motivate them to be the best they can possibly be. Third thing I want to be as a coach, competitive. A lot of people don't talk a whole lot about being competitive as a coach. Guys, if you're not competing every single day as a coach, just like we talked about with our players, it's basically a muscle. You got to learn to compete. I'm competing every single day. Our schedule is loaded with guys that are legends as far as coaches. Every single time I step out there on a Friday night, I'm going against somebody that's won a state championship, won multiple state championships, won multiple conference championships. Guys that we're going against are legends. They're some of the best, not only in the state but in the nation. So I understand that, and I've got to know that and respect that every single day. And if I'm not competing to get better, I'm going to get left behind. So some things that we do is we study coaches. I really like to study coaches and just kind of some different things that they do, their personalities. Watch some of their press conferences, try to get a good feel for who they are and what they kind of stand for, and then get into their schemes. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, you guys have seen the different things that are broken down from Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma this past year, a bunch of LSU. We're going to get into some of that later. Clemson, Ohio State, just the programs that you think are really good. Look at them schematically. And even bigger usually than the schematics of it, because everybody is going to do whatever they do schematically, is really dig into what they actually do fundamentally. Whenever they run their inside zone, how do they do it? What steps do they take? Do they make contact with their shoulders? Do they do the flipper? Do they get hip to hip? Do they use their hands? How do they do it? Also, whenever Oklahoma's running GT, how do they do it? They put their shoulder on it. What do they do? So you study coaches, study scheme, but then also while you're studying that scheme, understand why they do it, when they do it, and how they do it fundamentally. That's one of the things that I think is really key, is trying to understand fundamentally how they do it and why they're doing what they do. Other thing, got to compete to create relationships. If you're the head of a football program, or you have your own position group, whatever it is, you've got to build relationships. And if you don't, say a student comes in and quits, I take that personally. That means that I did not create a good enough relationship for him to want to play football. I take that extremely personally. There are times when there are other factors that pull a kid out, whether it's health related, whether it's academics, whether it's whatever. There are a lot of excuses, but it all comes back to, if I had a good enough relationship, just like in recruiting. If I was recruiting a young man, I want to make it hard on him to make that call and say, hey, I'm going to whatever other university. I'm trying to make that hard on that kid to come in there and say that he doesn't want to play any football anymore. If you don't create a dynamic relationship, it's going to be easy for those guys to come in and do it. Other thing, also got to compete. Gonna read every single day. Find something. It doesn't have to be football related. It doesn't have to be leadership related. Those things are good and great. But I've gotten into a kick where I've been reading a bunch of history books. Favorite one that I read here recently was Empire of the Summer Moon, book on Comanches. Really good book. Amazing about the American West and just kind of settlement of that, along with the Comanches and their war tribes. But long story short, man, read. Find something that piques your interest and learn about it and continue to grow. All right, we're going to move on to a little bit more football discussion. And what we're going to talk about next is kind of our game day decisions and what we do and how we come about all those decisions. A lot of people might say they're kind of reckless. We make some reckless decisions, but we call them aggressive. We want to be aggressive. The real thing is, I want our program to be based on being aggressive. We want to win the game. We're not here to try to keep it close. We're not trying to do anything like that. We're here to win the game. We're not trying to leave it in anybody's hands. We want to take it. So we want to be aggressive. If I ever have a choice, say it's 4th and 1, could I run the ball here? Probably. Would I get it? Maybe. I don't know. The box is pretty stacked. One high look. I got a pretty good matchup on the outside. Could I take a shot? Yeah, we could take a shot to possibly try to score. If those thoughts come into my head and I know there are a couple of decent answers, The only thing I have to ask myself is which one is more aggressive? Which one is more aggressive? The one that goes for the touchdown is the more aggressive one. So that's what I'm going to do. The more aggressive one, if I don't feel like that other one is 90% better than the other one. Be more aggressive. That's our mentality. And, of course, not everybody is like that. Not everybody should be like that. But that's what we want to build within our program. And like we said, we're not here to keep it close. We're not here to hope that we lose by one score. We're here to win the game. We're not here to hope that you guys mess it up. We want to win. And I understand that's counterintuitive to a lot of different philosophies, but that's the one that I want our program to be a part of and what I want it to be based off of, and that's what we do. We're here to win. Now, sometimes I make awful decisions. Looking back, the analytics aren't good. I don't know all the specific numbers, but a lot of times they're not good. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't, but we're going to be aggressive. All right, so fourth down philosophy. Reasons why we do what we do. Now, we quit kick and all that, and we rarely punt, but when we do punt, we're really effective. But kind of the story behind why we go for it so much on fourth down and why we quit kick. The very first year I was head coach here at Searcy, we were playing a really good football team that we knew it was going to be difficult to win, but we were playing them, and it was a 4th and 1, about midfield. I think this was in the first half. And I thought to myself, man, I really hope that they don't go for it because I think they're probably going to get it based off of the momentum and what they've been doing. And as soon as they jogged the punt team out there, I kind of relaxed and said, oh, man, I'm really glad that they're punting right here because I don't think we would have stopped them. So with that being said, I didn't want to be that guy that lets the opponent's head coach kind of take a deep breath and say, man, thank goodness they're punting. I don't ever want them to think that. I want to keep game pressure on the opposing head coach. I want them to continue to sweat. I want them to continue to work their butts off so that eventually in the fourth quarter we can wear them down. And obviously I also want to go for it so we can continue to hold on to the football. Other things, we're looking for things to take advantage of. If you see something you like, do it. Don't hope that you can punt it and hold on to it. If you see something you think you can take advantage of, go ahead and call it. See what happens, okay? Other thing, if someone puts someone back to return, because a lot of times we'll slow it down and see what happens on the quick kick, got to go for it. Got to go for it unless it's just very obvious that you got to kick it. If you can't make a first down from about 7 yards and in on 11 on 10, then you're probably not going to win anyway. So go for it. If they put someone back to return, go ahead and go for it and see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario, they stop you. If you punt it, guess what? They got a guy back. He's probably going to catch it. You probably don't have a college punter, so it's probably a 30-yard difference. Not that big of a deal. Another thing, here's one that some of you guys might get upset with. If you spend more than 5 minutes a week on your punt team, you should probably be working on your offense. All right, so think about that one more time. If you spend more than 5 minutes on your punt team, because what is a punt team? A punt team is a unit that you work on so you can give the other team the football. I don't want to give the other team the football. You shouldn't either. So if you're spending more than 5 minutes on your punt team, you should be working on your offense. Stop working on ways to give the ball to the other team. Work on ways to hold on to it. All right. The other thing, some people don't want to do this because they're scared. They'll say, "Oh no, people are going to be angry with me when I don't get it." Guess what, guys? We won the first state championship here since 1933. People are still angry. People are angry. That's just what they do. They're just mad. That's just our society today. If it's about not making on a fourth down, okay, that'll be fine. But whenever you know that it's right and it's the thing that's going to give your team the best chance to win, I'm not real worried about it. I'm not real worried about them being angry. They're going to be angry with me either way. Anybody in leadership knows that somebody's going to be angry with you every single day, no matter what you do. You can't hope to please everybody. If you do, you're going to be unhappy yourself. So I go for it. I'm not worried with them being angry. They're going to be angry either way. So we'll keep talking about it. Some of you guys are probably giving this same look right here, like the Lebowski. You're probably giving that look right there. This look right here from John Goodman. That looks a lot like my dad when I'm in trouble. Came home late for the curfew. There it is. So some of you guys are saying this, yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Well, it is. It is. We've had success with it. You don't have to do it. I mean, I believe in it. I think it's one of those things that gives us an edge. I think it's good. So, I mean, we'll continue to talk about it and a few other things, but that's kind of our fourth down philosophy. Real quick, a few other things. As a basketball coach, would you give the ball to the other team every fourth possession? So think about that. It's the same thing you do on offense whenever you punt the ball on fourth down. Every single play is an opportunity to score or get a first down. So, I mean, if you're in basketball, you do the same thing. Every fourth possession, you'd walk the ball down the court, and you would roll it to the team far away from the basket so that they would have less of a chance to get down there close. That's what you do if you had the same mentality on the basketball court as a lot of people do on the football field. All right, I'm not with that. I don't want to give up 25% of my opportunities either. So, I mean, 1/4 of your plays to get a first down, and you're just giving it up and giving the team the ball. I don't believe in it. I think it's one of those things that people used to do it. I think it's one of those things that eventually the analytics are going to show that you should never do it, and I'm getting more and more to that side. All right, real quick, just kind of showing you guys, we've actually led the state in total punting the past couple of years as far as per kick, and we've averaged last year we averaged just over 48 yards. Year before 46, and year before that we had 44. We led the state, and here's kind of a few reasons why. We don't work it very often because, again, we're working on our offense so we can stay on the field. But right here we're in 10 personnel. We got 4 gunners. All these guys are gunners. We have some kind of protection, whatever kind of run or pass protection you want to call it. I'd suggest a run so that they can fire off and be a little bit more aggressive. Right here, he's going to step up to lead. If his guy doesn't come, he's going to take off, be a gunner as well. This is probably the best punt that we've had in a long time as far as coverage and everything. I'll just kind of play it. A lot of guys that punt, we lead the state usually by about 2 or 3 yards. Guess what? We punt from 7 yards as opposed to 12 or 14 yards. So there's about 3 or 4 yards right there. We don't work it a ton with our quarterbacks. We punt twice a week. We punt Thursday warming up. We punt Friday when we're warming up for the game. And that's it. And we've led the state in punting the past 3 years. So we'll play it real quick so you can kind of see what takes place. All right, so we're snapping it again from 7 yards. You're protected as a punter at 7 yards. So that's why we bump them back to 7. All these guys are gunners. They know they're going. We got our protection right there. It looks like a full slide. And we end up just kicking it. We want to kick it low. We don't want to give there's a guy back. This is the semifinal game. We're about a couple scores. 4th down and about 9 with between a minute and 2 minutes left in the game. So we're wanting to punt it. We knew we wanted to punt it. We got that thing out low. We're going to let it roll. There's actually a guy back deep to return, which is fine. We just got to know we got to do a great job with the net. We got 3 of our 4 gunners got down there, and they did a great job directly over the ball, not letting him go vertical. We got an outside lane right there. Now we're just a simple noose drill, just like any contained drill that you would do right there, and a big play right there in the semifinals that kind of sealed it. You know, gave the other team pretty compromising field position where they weren't able to go down and score very quickly. And, you know, that was probably the best as far as the net that we've had in a long time. Looked like we worked it a lot, but I think that's what happens when you have a lot of really good football players.